You're listening to a Soul One podcast.
Your favorite episode, Taylor? It's a mailbag. It's all about our fans. Are you ready to hear some honest truths and difficult questions?
As long as it's not about me. I don't want to have to face myself as a human.
No, but things about things we've said.
I take no responsibility. I forget the moment we sign off, Mike. I have completely blanked. I essentially record every episode in a blackout. So I don't think I can be held responsible.
Yeah,
opinions.
It's interesting because it's funny, I forget often things I say too, but I think that's just because we're so truthful.
It's true.
You remember the lies you tell. It's hard to remember the truth. That's
a
quote. That's a Mike Shepard original, Taylor.
I would just, we're very authentic. So I guess I will have to maybe defend myself this episode, but I'll probably stand by whatever I said, unless it's like cancelable. And then it's like, that was blackout. I'm not responsible.
Yeah, the best thing to do, Taylor, deny. Okay, so we're starting with this first fan question is about something we said. So this says, hi, you had me at Skip It. I've been a listener since your Screening at Kingston days, and I really enjoyed your conversation about Ryan Gosling and whether or not he's a great actor. I thought it was really interesting that people have such different opinions and sometimes volatile opinions on different acting performances. What do you think it is that people see that's so different that makes us not certain if people are good actors or not? Here's my unpopular acting opinion. I don't like Robert Pattinson. I find him unwatchable and annoying to watch and listen to, and that's from Sadie.
So well, Sadie, I don't feel bad because Sadie, I don't know if I've ever said anyone was unwatchable. So Sadie has set the new bar. Also, thank you, Sadie, for being such a long time listener. We appreciate you. Do you think I've ever said someone was unwatchable?
I'm trying to think about it. Well, you don't like Tom Hanks at all.
Yeah, and I don't like Meryl Streep.
And Meryl Streep, like any of the good ones, any of the like classic, great, well award-winning actors, prestige actors. You're not a fan.
Here's the thing, and this in part answers Sadie's question. It's hard to answer Sadie's question because everyone goes into a performance or a movie with their own preconceived notions and their biases and their preferences, right?
Definitely, yeah.
For me, with like Tom Hanks and Meryl Streep and even Jack Nicholson, like later in his career, I watch their movies and I am just hyper aware that that's Tom Hanks, that's Meryl Streep. I feel like they cannot escape into the performance. Like if I watch a movie and I'm like, yep, like even I like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna blank on her name. She was married to Tom Cruise and has red hair. She's been in like everything in the last 2 years, and arguably they have not been great.
Nicole Kidman.
Nicole Kidman in The Northman. I'm like, that's right. Nicole Kidman.
Right.
And like I like her, but I'm like, that took me out of I really like that movie, and that's a see it for me. But out of the cast, I'm like, yep, that's Nicole Kidman playing a Norse mom. Like, doesn't really work for me. So that to me is like, and I can see that with Ryan Gosling, that some people can't see beyond his performance and get lost in the role. But I don't know, some people are just like, it's like in real life, Mike, there's some people in the world that you can find the most annoying, horrible, don't want to spend any time with them. And in your circle of friends, people are like, oh, we love them.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think when it comes to acting, it's one of the harder art forms to definitively say. Like, you can listen to someone sing and you can tell whether or not they're on the key or off the key or
Sure.
singing the correct note or flat or tone deaf. And same with dancing. You can look and be like, that person's doing different choreography than this other person. So they're like, someone's doing it
Mm-hmm.
wrong. Acting is a little harder. And I think you hit the nail on the head. I think people have their own preconceived notions, their own ideas, their own thoughts on how things should go. I think there are certain, like to me, there are still certain things you can look at that help judge whether or not a person's a good actor or a bad one. I just think, yeah, for me, Ryan Gosling doesn't, like I've said before, it doesn't do anything unique or interesting, and is a little, yeah, a little bit of what you're talking about, where he's the same each time. I don't really know if that's the personality of Ryan Gosling, or that's, to me, that's what shows a bad actor, is if you're relatively the same each performance that you give. There's not a lot of nuance and change.
But it sounds
Robert
like
Pattinson, on the other hand, I think changes drastically
that's what
per
and
performance. Yeah,
I could see Sadie not, and I don't know what her opinion on Ryan Gosling is or whatever, but I could see people not, like we said on the last episode, Mike, Robert Pattinson makes decisions, like artistic. He makes artistic
that's right.
decisions
Yeah,
and he 100% commits. And I don't think you're ever going to get the same performance out of him movie to movie. And I
and
could
making a
see that.
decision is tough. Like making it,
Yeah.
making an artistic decision,
And
you could be
committing.
right, you could be wrong. I am the type of person that goes, I would rather you make a choice and be wrong than not make a choice at all. Yes.
But I could see that being annoying to people. It's like,
Yep.
I love the funny stories about him, which apparently are like 99% made up by him. But he was in that movie. And again, this was a couple years ago. He plays a Southern preacher who's essentially like a
Mm-hmm.
con artist.
Mm-hmm.
And the story or the rumor is that the director, the producer went to Rob and said, we've hired a dialect coach. And he went, nope, I'm going to do a Southern accent. Like I'm going to come up with the character's accent. And and I don't know enough about Southern accents to know if the accent was horrible or enough, but a lot of people in the South were like, this is horrible. But he made a choice
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah,
he stuck with it.
it's a choice, and I think part of the artistic struggles as a director or a producer or other creators, you have to figure out, is it worth putting up this argument or not, or and if you thought it wasn't going to serve the movie, do you have to push back with Robert Pattinson? But again, that to me, if you're directing a movie, don't you want that? Like, don't you want your actors caring enough to want to make those choices, and
And be
then it's kind of
confident.
be confident, and it's then on you to figure out how to make that work or to push back or what have you. So yeah, I think it's a hard discussion because there's a lot of subtle nuances to acting, and I do think acting has so many things that could make or break a performance, down to the costume choices, which has nothing to do with the actor, down to the director who you have. There's a lot of movies that I think directors can ruin. So it's tough. Sometimes it might simply be Ryan Gosling might work with a really brilliant director one time and suddenly get a performance out of him that I like. That's possible. Like that's very, very possible. So I think there's a lot of factors that we don't come into play. So yeah, I'm kind of with you. I want the big artistic choice, and just make it, and we'll see if it works.
That's how I feel about Jake Gyllenhaal. He sometimes is like horrible in movies, and other times you're like, well, I'm along for the ride, Jake.
That's
Take
right.
me with you.
Because that could be the project, that could be the director. His performance in Nightcrawler is like disturbing.
Chef's kiss. That
Yeah,
to me
like
is one of the best
what do you want? Like
performance.
that's it.
Yeah.
But again, I what I like about Jake Gyllenhaal is Jake Gyllenhaal can turn around and play Mysterio in a Spider-Man movie and also work. Like
Yeah.
to me, that's what makes an actor really fascinating, is when they're able to do these kinds of switches and make them work and work on different projects, and have it kind of not be a fluke almost that it was good. So yeah, I think it's a debate worth having, and it's fun to talk about. This next question is also kind of about things we say. So this says one of the things that's interesting about listening to your podcast is when you really don't like a movie, boy, do you both not like a movie. And then when you really like a movie, you're almost tongue tied as to what to say about that movie because you simply liked the movie. So my question is, do either of you have a line that you draw in the bad category that it's so bad that it's good? Or are bad movies just simply a turn off for you both?
Who's that? And who wrote that? Was that
Oh,
anonymous?
sorry. Nope. Where? Susan.
Susan, credit where credit's due. We should,
Yes.
she's waited for us to answer her question.
Yeah, I closed the question when I should not have.
Are there ever, I think, yes, 100%. There are movies that are so bad that they're good. But, like a cult classic, right? Or even like, I guess there's, I feel like I feel like I talked about, I feel like I talked about this with Nicole when you were off mic. And we were talking about cult classics. And you know how sometimes people say like, oh, that's my guilty pleasure. Like that movie's so
Mm-hmm.
bad.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, sometimes you just like really bad movies and like that's okay. You don't even have to say like they're so bad it becomes good. You can just be like that movie is so bad. And I think Nicole and I were talking about Stigmata, which was a movie that we grew up with and allegedly is very bad. And I remember in grad school showing it to some girlfriends, like unironically, just being like, this is a movie. And they're like, oh, Taylor, this movie was so bad. It was good. Like, what a corny
Yeah.
movie. And I was like,
Yeah.
what?
To you, it was just good. It was,
Yeah, it was just good. Like, I just like, so, yes, like, I think that there are bad like quote unquote technically bad movies, you know what I mean, like oh that movie's never gonna win an Oscar, that maybe the acting choices were weird, and like you can just enjoy it and not be ashamed about it. So yeah, I feel like those are like less and less though, Mike. Like I feel like when
agree.
a movie is bad these days,
Yeah.
it's bad.
Yeah, most of
So
those I think from my childhood, not necessarily now. And I do think what the interesting thing that, sorry, is it Susan? Oh, I can't. Yeah, Susan brought up was when we don't like a movie, we have more to say about it. But I
right.
think that that's fair because you and I have talked about that on the show before, where sometimes a movie just hits for us and we almost don't feel like why justify it? Like it worked for us.
Yeah,
It
like
was a comedy. It was funny. It was a drama. It was dramatic. Like that. It did what we wanted it to do.
yeah.
So what else do you want to say? It was good. It was a good movie.
It's like when you were in high school and you had to write an essay about a book and you're
Oh,
like, it was good.
yeah.
Like, I
What
don't
do you want from
know.
me? Like sometimes a chair. My favorite saying from theater school was sometimes a chair is just a chair. Like
Yeah.
don't read into things so much. Sometimes a good movie is just a good movie. But for bad movies, I think one of the things you and I like doing is we like talking about why it didn't work, which I think is our film.
Deconstructing.
Yeah, that's our passion for film
Yeah.
coming through. Because I will say wholeheartedly, both of us want movies to be good. We want to go and enjoy every movie, and we'd love to come on the show and say, wow, we're having such a great time. Here's a bunch of movies to recommend. That just doesn't happen a lot anymore. We
No.
often say, oh, this movie sucks, or it's middle ground, and therefore there's nuance, there's more to discuss. But our top movies, we say a couple good things about it, what we really liked about it, and then that's it. Like, what else do you want to hear? It was good.
And
It did what it was supposed to do.
it's hard because you're like, oh, the acting was good. Well, what, I don't know what else to say. It's like the previous question about how do you know when an actor is bad, and you can say like, oh, they didn't feel like it's easier to pick apart where things went wrong.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
You know
Well,
what
yeah,
I mean?
and I think of saying I really like that I find myself saying way too much is I really don't agree with giving praise for just doing what you were supposed to do.
Right.
Like if the movie is like a movie is just supposed to be good or an interesting story or funny or fascinating, or it can be thought provoking still and still have things to think about and discuss. But the quality of the movie, I don't want to sit here and praise it for doing what it should do. You're spending millions of dollars. You're making millions of dollars. These movies should be good. That's to me, that's the bare minimum expectation, is that I walk away giving good, and I don't want to give out a participation medal. So I have more to say when it's bad, because you failed something. You didn't achieve, to me, what is the goal, which is entertain, be interesting.
Yeah,
So
agreed.
that's my opinion on it. This next fan question is, so one of the things I've been wondering, but haven't had the courage to ask you both for a while, is how what is the fastest you've ever decided to skip a movie? I'm talking about, were you 30 seconds into the movie and said, nope, I hate this, this is not for me, but now I have to sit here and watch it? And have you ever walked out of a movie or stopped a movie and never returned from it? And this is from, I want to say, Jax or Jace. It's Jax. How would you say that?
Jax.
Jax?
Yeah,
Jax.
like from Sons of Anarchy. I wonder
Oh,
how old this
okay.
person is and if their
No.
parents are Sons of Anarchy fans.
Yeah.
Um, I wanted to turn off Antichrist, a Lars von Trier movie, and the person I was watching it with was like, "No, we have to watch it to the end." Lars von Trier is quite graphic, and I don't really agree with his worldview or what he's trying to achieve in movies. So I knew pretty quickly that I didn't want to finish that movie, but I was essentially forced to finish that movie. But in terms of watching a movie and like how quickly, there are times where I think like within like the opening scene, oh, I'm not gonna like this movie.
Yeah. I'll admit to one recently. I didn't walk out of the theater. I've never done that, but I started streaming something, and I stopped. And this is a very recent movie. I started to watch The Housemaid,
Oh yeah.
and I stopped 15-20 minutes into it, and I have yet to return to it.
Because it's kind of soapy. I haven't seen that movie, but it's pretty like
Yeah,
high drama.
and I'm not sure what I was expecting, but it just had so many decent reviews, and from
Right.
relatively like good sources, that it was good. Again, you can say what you want about the career of Sydney Sweeney. She's put some good movies out there. I think she's had some good performances. Amanda Seyfried is always good as well. I just couldn't stand the dialogue and the general layout and
It's
construction of
so
the early part of the movie. I just couldn't do it.
it's so funny you say that, Mike, because we've been doing this show long enough. I haven't even seen The Housemaid, but I've read the synopsis and
Right.
like knowing about it, I never would recommend that movie to you.
Yeah. I get
I am
curiosity.
not I am not surprised whatsoever. It kind of gives me a Simple Favor vibes.
Yeah, which again, we all know how I
You
feel
hate.
about that movie. But again, I liked the her and Glenn Powell did a romantic comedy movie a couple of years ago that I really liked. Now, again, that was based on a Shakespeare play, but I didn't actually know that until I watched the movie. So I liked that. I really thought her performance in Immaculate was very good. As much as that movie was a little repetitive of other things we've seen, a little derivative, but still a decent movie. So I kind of went into it with, yeah, like maybe this isn't necessarily a me type of movie, but I also liked Crazy Rich Asians, which isn't a me kind of movie. So give it a
Okay.
shot, try something. Taylor, within 15 minutes, not only were you proven right, I've had no interest in turning this back on. Like, not even, there's the part of me that the only reason why I'm still watching Euphoria is I gotta know where this is going. This is
You're
the only
hate
reason.
watching it
Yeah, that's
now.
right. I'm almost hate watching it, and just like, oh, like my brain does this thing where I need to know where the story goes. I'm not even fascinated by these characters in any way. I have not gone back to it.
It's so funny that you bring up Euphoria, Mike, because the algorithm is still giving me kind of like synopses of each
Oh,
episode. And like, I
yeah.
feel invested too. I have not seen a single episode, but from these synopses or these screen captures, I'm like, oh my goodness, where's this? Is Nate going to pay off the loan shark?
Oh man, Nate's in trouble. Like, oh man, the end of episode 3 or 4, whatever it was that I was like, wow, Nate is in
He's
it, and
in
in it,
deep.
yeah, and in it in a way that's just like so classic of the show, where it's so
Over the top.
over the top, that it's just like, yeah, I don't know how you're gonna climb your way out of this. So yeah, Nate's in some trouble. And it's I gotta tell you, this show, I don't know. I don't know if I could take much more of it, but here
How
I
many more
am.
episodes are there?
I don't know. I mean, they're releasing them one after another. I don't know how many they're doing in the season though, like
Maybe
six or
8 or 10.
seven. Yeah, like I think I've watched three or four. Like either just finished three and just started four, somewhere around there. Yeah, it might go up to 10 at most.
Right.
That's usually what they do. I don't even know if this is the final season. They haven't said that officially anywhere. So I don't know if they're all contractually obligated for one more. I don't
Oh
know.
gosh.
But again, it's so fascinating to watch this show, also for the fact that there's so many superstars in this now. Like they were kids when they started this, and they're all still young, but they're very much adults now. There's so many of these actors that have major careers, like huge careers. Zendaya, Sydney Sweeney. We talked about
Jacob
Nate,
Elordi.
Jacob, yeah, Lordy, yeah, who all have like massive careers. So
Yeah, they did not
it's
need to come
fascinating.
back.
No,
Um,
under no circumstance. The only person who I feel needs this is Maud Apatow, but even then, she has her own side projects that she does. So it's not even she doesn't act a lot, but she does a lot of other things. So it's not it's not the end of the world.
Back to the original question, just real quick, Mike. So there are movies where in the opening credits, I can't think of off the top of any on my head, but I'm sure, like if it's a skip it for me, it's almost immediate that I know it's going to be a skip it. Recently, though, and this is going to be controversial, but I did bring this up in my review. The if I was to go from the opening scene of Sinners, that would have been a skip it for me.
You're going to definitely get some
Some
people.
blowback.
Yeah.
But I did ultimately say that was a see it.
Yeah, you did. Oh no,
And
you
I
were
did
very
say that
positive
my
about it.
my major issue with the movie was the framing device and the flashbacks.
But
So
you know how some listeners are, Taylor. They only hear half of what you
I
say
know they're
for
gonna
whatever
say now
reason.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna be
yeah,
I'm a hater because I didn't like the opening
yeah.
scene of
Didn't like the
Sinners.
opening
But
sequence of Sinners.
I just to say to I believe it was Susan. Sometimes you go in like very like I feel like you and I might have like a very developed sense of what we like.
Sure.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I
Like
think we know what we like. Yeah,
yeah, and so like it doesn't take very long in a movie, especially for me who's like very driven by aesthetics. Like I normally know immediately if I like the aesthetics of a movie.
definitely.
However, sometimes you are proven wrong, like in the case of Sinners, right? Where like ultimately the movie did win me over. So, it just goes to show, you really can't make
Yeah,
rash decisions or
and
rash judgments.
I do think the open mindedness is important. Like I think you have to do what you just said, Taylor. Where maybe if I go back, I doubt it, but maybe if I go back and watch the rest of the Housemaid, it would win me over. But I do think part of
There's going to be a
watching
sequel, Mike.
yeah, part of what maybe I will watch it now just to see what all the hype is about. But part of I think what makes watching movies to me interesting is giving it that chance for going to the movie theater and forcing yourself to sit through it and getting the whole piece as a whole and
Yeah.
then judging it as opposed to judging the beginning or the lead up or what have you. So yeah, again, I think I'm with you on that. I think we both are relatively open-minded. We try things out. We want to get through it. I've never walked out of a movie theater. I don't think I ever will.
I don't think I have. I
And I
paid
think it's just
money.
yeah, paid money, and also you want to just see what the hype's about. So, um, this next question is for you, Taylor.
Okay.
Um, we've heard a little bit about what Mike likes in television shows, but we don't really know too much about Taylor's TV show history. Taylor, what's some shows that you really enjoy? Are you into any of the popular shows, or you just not have time for TV at all? Your fans are waiting.
My adoring fans. Who is that,
And
Mike?
that's from Ian, who I do believe has written it before.
Thank you,
I
Ian.
recognize this name. Yeah.
You did hit the nail on the head. With a toddler, I don't really have time to watch TV. Right now, Dan and I are watching X-Files, like the original X-Files. It is
Oh,
being
okay.
rebooted.
It is being rebooted. Yeah.
By speaking of the Sinners, I believe Coogler
Yeah,
is
Ryan
the
Coogler.
showrunner.
Yeah.
Is going to be the showrunner for it. So we're right now we're rewatching X-Files. Sometimes if we have time, we'll watch King of the Hill. What else was the show that we recently
Did you watch any of the new King of the Hill?
Yep, we watched the new King of the Hill. My sensibility, so early on, if people listened way back in the day, I was huge Hannibal fan, was a fanable as we are called. And so that was like a, really liked Hannibal. What are my interests? Like Twin Peaks, X-Files, so like supernatural-ish shows. True Blood, I watched True Blood when it was on. I'm not adverse to quote unquote prestige television. So I did watch Mad Men when it was on, but
Right.
I didn't watch like other. I don't know. I'll be honest, like I don't know what the current TV shows are, Mike. So, but if it's a kind of spooky, supernatural comedy, cults, I like all that kind of stuff. So in a soon to be aired episode, I am going to be reviewing a documentary. That's what I kind of find time for now, Mike, is
Right.
if
Yeah.
for like what do they call that, like a docu-series.
Hmm.
I really gravitate towards docu-series because they're kind of I can commit to 4 or 5 episodes over a chunk of time, whereas to commit to a television show, it's kind of tough because you don't know how many episodes are going to air.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, that's how I would describe my
Yeah.
TV watching.
That makes sense. Okay, we got. Let's do one more here. So actually, this is a very timely question, actually, for what we were just talking about. What's a show or a movie that you thought you'd hate but ended up loving by the end? And this was an anonymous question for the
Oh
website.
my
So yeah,
goodness.
and I mean that's topical to what we just talked about. How sometimes we give something a chance. Yeah, I'm trying to think off the top of my head of a movie that I wasn't really into at the beginning, but then kind of got me. I feel like I've reviewed something recently though or at least seen something recently that I had that feeling where I'm the first 20 minutes or so I felt like I'm not really into this, and then something happened and suddenly I was locked in for the rest of the movie. I can't remember
This is a
what it
tough
was.
question. This is one of those times where I wish you would have given me this question in advance so that I could think about it a little bit.
Yeah, but I never do
Um,
that.
no, you never do. Trying to think a movie that I thought I was gonna hate, but ended up. You know what? To keep it recent, and we did mention this on the show, Katie and I, both of us were dreading reviewing Project Hail Mary.
Were
And
you?
we said that on the episode, Mike.
Oh, I don't remember
Talk
that.
about
Okay.
blacking out.
Yeah.
Neither one of us are huge sci-fi fans, and
Right.
so I'm on record not liking space movies. So I was really dreading it, especially knowing that it was one of your favorite IPs. I was thinking, okay, this is gonna be like really sciency, and I quite enjoyed it. It was it's so far probably my favorite movie of the year. I know it's
Yeah.
very, very early in the
Early, but
year,
yeah.
but so that'd probably be the most recent example. I'm trying to think of things that Dan would have introduced me to because he likes more like sci-fi and stuff. Um, but there hasn't been something that he showed me that like I knew I was gonna hate. We
Yeah.
watched Face Off, and I knew I would like enjoy that. What's the
Right.
one? Con Air.
Oh, Con
But that was
Air.
kind of like I knew like
I
I
don't know.
ended up not really liking Con Air. So
That's
that's kind
Con
of the
Air.
opposite.
Con Air isn't a great movie. Like
No.
I know it has a following, but Con Air is not. It's not a great movie.
So that was kind of the opposite. It was like I kind of went in because I like Nick Cage, kind of went in like with low expectations or being like, oh, I'll enjoy this. And then watching it and being like, no.
I've had that feeling of dread before, Taylor, going into movies because knowing one how like our fans are, or knowing that a lot of people are buzzing about a movie. Like I remember even seeing Wicked for the first Wicked and the second Wicked, and Gladiator 2. My review of that I was a little apprehensive about because I really didn't like Gladiator 2. So I know that feeling that you're talking about of like, oh, like I know certain fans are going to really love this, and even you and I talked about this a lot when we were doing Movies from a Hat, that we kept having to say like we believe that people who put these movies in the hat, this is like their favorite movie. And sometimes we
And
were
we hate
ripping it apart. Yeah. And we talked about how we felt bad about that every once in a while, being like, yeah, like we're just,
And then, Mike, it
you
turned
know,
out people were purposely putting movies in the hat
yeah,
that they
I
knew we
can't
weren't
believe
gonna
that. I
like.
can't believe when we've discovered that that's all people were doing. Like, oh, you'll hate this, just torturing us over the pandemic. Like, absolutely ridiculous. But yeah, like I think I've definitely had those thoughts where it's been, you know, again, does that make me pull my punches? No, I still just give kind of my honest opinion, but I think I'm weary of that as well. Sometimes you're reviewing someone's favorite movie. I remember not being certain what I was going to think about movies going into them, but then, you know, ending up liking them or being more positive than I thought I would. That's happened to me quite a few times where I just have low expectations and the movie surpassed it. So
I think like a movie, I think if someone was to make me watch like the Dune movies, not the David Lynch ones, because I think I could probably find something redeemable in David
I'm sure
Lynch's
you would.
Dune. He's more of my aesthetic sensibilities. But if someone was to Dune, for instance, is not a movie, I have zero interest in seeing the new Dune movies, the trilogy.
Right.
So that would be a movie where I'd be like, oh, I was pleasantly surprised. I enjoyed that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or even Odyssey. Like I have very little interest in seeing the Odyssey. I'm also not a Christopher Nolan fan.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe no. I was excited to see Inglourious Bastards, even though I'm not a Tarantino fan.
Yeah.
That would. I think there's certain directors that I do not typically gravitate towards that I would avoid on purpose, but there might be a chance where people, and I'm now putting it out there, and people are gonna, whoever won the Oscars, probably the Oscar pool is probably gonna make me do this, but Christopher Nolan and who did I just and well
Tarantino.
I don't. Yeah, Tarantino and like the Dune guy. I don't know a lot of his movies. He's French Canadian, I think.
Yes, Denis Villeneuve. Yeah.
Yeah. So those aren't directors that I would gravitate to or particularly like their style.
Yeah.
So if someone was like, "Okay, Taylor, like it's a fan episode, you have to go watch this," I'd be like, "Eh." And then it would be nice to be pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, and that kind of thing. Yeah, I could see happening. Yeah, that's a good reminder. We've got to hear from our Oscar winner and Oscar loser this year because we've got two fans who will be creating their own episode. So I've got to reach back out and find out what they want us to do or if they're coming on the show, which would be fun. So yeah, we'll be in touch about that soon. But thank you to everybody who wrote in. That was really great. Always great to get fan questions, even unprompted, Taylor. We don't always remember to prompt our fans, right. and we got some unprompted fan questions, which we really appreciate. So thank you very much for everyone for writing in. You can go to the website, soul1arts.ca. Just go to the podcast tab. You'll find the form to fill. I think our Oscars form's still up there, but below it is send in a question /
Don't fill out the Oscar poll. It is done.
Go past that and scroll past that and you'll see a form to fill. But most people seem to be able to find it now. Thank you very much to everybody for writing in and for listening this week.
Go see some movies.
Thank you for listening to You Had Me at Skip It, a Soul One Arts Inc. podcast. This podcast is produced by Mike Shepard and Austin Spinner Summer. It is a project of Soul One Arts Inc. To learn more about Soul One and all the great work that Soul One is doing in the arts community, especially in film, theater, and other performing arts, visit soul1arts.ca. You can contribute to this podcast by visiting soul1arts.ca and going to the podcast tab. You'll find all the information on You Had Me at Skip It and how you can get your questions read on air each week. Thank you again for listening.